One of the most dangerous signs someone close to you secretly hates you is when their support always seems to hold you back. It sounds like, "I'm just looking out for you. Are you sure you can handle that? You've changed." But the tone isn't protective, it's belittling. They frame their doubt as concern, but it's really a way to keep you small. You'll notice they only support you when you're struggling. When you're winning, they distance themselves. Or worse, they plant seeds of fear right when you're about to leap. It's not encouragement, it's disguised sabotage. They'll question your goals, subtly discredit your progress, or remind you of past failures. Not to help you grow, but to quietly undermine your confidence. I'm just being honest. You're too sensitive. This form of hidden resentment is especially painful because it wears the mask of love. You want to believe they care, but your gut keeps whispering, something isn't right. Sometimes they even criticize your healing. They miss the old you, not because it was better, but because the old you didn't make them feel insecure. People who love you don't fear your growth. They don't use your pain as a power trip. Pay attention. The ones who secretly envy you will hide behind words like realism and loyalty, but their energy always tells the truth. There's a strange kind of betrayal that doesn't come from enemies. It comes from someone close, someone who smiles when you succeed, but whose eyes don't light up. Someone who supports you in public, but dissects your flaws in private. And the hardest part? You feel it, but can't prove it. The human mind is wired for connection. We look for safety in familiarity. So when the discomfort comes from someone familiar, we second-guess our instincts. Watch till the end, because the most dangerous kind of hatred doesn't come from enemies. They're just having a bad day. Maybe I'm being too sensitive, but silence has a weight. So do subtle jabs. So do moments when you needed them, and they weren't there. The first sign that someone secretly resents or dislikes you isn't always what they say. It's what they withhold. Genuine people celebrate your growth, but those who harbor quiet envy will often downplay your accomplishments. Must be nice to have time for all that. Or, I could have done that too if I cared about that stuff. They won't criticize you directly. That would be too obvious. Instead, they dripped out. They undermine with a smile. And when you leave the room, they feel taller. These are not random behaviors. They're the seeds of concealed resentment. And left unchecked, they grow into manipulation, passive aggression, and even sabotage. If you've ever walked away from someone and felt smaller, not because of something they did, but because of how you felt around them, trust that. Because love doesn't make you shrink. This is only the beginning. The signs are subtle, but once you see them, you can never unsee them. It's subtle. They'll never say they're in competition with you, but you'll feel it. In the small jabs, the one-up stories, the constant comparison. Every time you share something you're proud of, they respond with something bigger. You say, "I finally landed that job," and they say, "That's great. I actually got offered something even better, but turned it down." It's not conversation. It's dominance disguised as dialogue. They don't celebrate you. They measure themselves against you. And their smiles? They don't reach their eyes. It's the kind of praise that feels cold, like they're clapping with gloves on. These people aren't inspired by your success. They're threatened by it. They use your wins to remind themselves of what they haven't done. And instead of working on themselves, they work on ways to dim your light. You might notice how they mimic your ideas, your style, even your words, but always with a twist, as if to say, "I can do it better." They'll borrow from you but never credit you. They want your essence without your presence. It's exhausting, loving someone who keeps trying to beat you, because deep down, they don't want to grow with you. They want to outrun you. This kind of hidden rivalry isn't always loud, but if you're constantly walking on eggshells around your own success, that's not friendship. That's a threat in disguise, and no one deserves to shrink just to be tolerated. You'll notice it in your hardest moments, not when everything's going right, but when your world feels like it's falling apart. They vanish. No calls, no check-ins, no questions. Just silence dressed as apathy, and if they do show up, their comfort feels mechanical, rehearsed, as if they're doing it out of obligation, not love. When someone truly cares for you, your pain becomes their concern. They don't need to have the right words, they just need to show up. But those who secretly resent you, they see your pain as an opportunity to feel superior, to watch you struggle and think, maybe they're not so special after all. They won't say it, of course. They might even act confused when you finally call them out. But their pattern is loud, even when their mouth is quiet. Absent in crisis, passive in success, and present only when it benefits them. Pay attention to who disappears when you need help, and who suddenly reappears when you've healed. Not to congratulate you, but to re-enter the life you rebuilt without them. There's no loyalty in selective presence. If they're not there for your worst, they don't deserve your best. Because real connection doesn't flinch when life gets ugly. And someone who secretly hates you, they find peace in your pain, because it silences the threat of your strength. There's a subtle kind of envy that disguises itself as admiration. They start to mirror you, your style, your ideas, the way you speak, even the things you once loved alone. At first, it might feel flattering, like they look up to you, but then it starts to feel off, because they never acknowledge where they got it from. They borrow your essence, but never your name. And when others praise them for something that started with you, they say nothing. They accept the compliment. They soak in the validation that was never truly theirs. This isn't inspiration. It's quiet resentment. They want what you have, but more than that, they want to be you. Without the struggle, without the story, without giving you credit for the path they're walking in your shadow. And underneath it all is a silent competition. They see your success as a mirror of their shortcomings. So, instead of growing beside you, they try to absorb your identity, as if they can erase you by becoming you. But real love doesn't compete. Real friends don't steal, and anyone who mimics you without celebrating you isn't in your corner. They're on your stage, hoping no one notices who built it. Watch how people emulate you, and then listen to what they don't say. The loudest betrayal is often the silence that follows your influence. Because admiration without acknowledgement is not flattery. It's erasure in disguise. They're always there, but never really with you. When you're hurting, they call you dramatic. When you're excited, they tell you not to get your hopes up. They reduce everything you feel into something small, something inconvenient, as if your emotions are too loud for their comfort. It's subtle, but every time you open up, you leave feeling heavier, not lighter, because instead of support, you get dismissal. Instead of empathy, you get distance. This isn't love, it's quiet sabotage. They might claim they're being realistic or honest, but notice how their realism only ever dulls your light, how their honesty always has sharp edges. They don't want to see you fall, but they don't want to see you rise either. They want you neutral, manageable, small enough to stay beneath their comfort zone. And over time, you start to question your own feelings. You suppress your happiness, shrink your sadness, just to keep the peace. But here's the truth. The people who truly care will hold space for your pain and your joy. They won't minimize your milestones or guilt you for being human. Pay attention to the ones who make your emotions feel inconvenient, because people who secretly resent you will never celebrate your highs or sit with you through your lows. They may be close in distance, but they're miles away in devotion. And when someone can't stand to see you fully alive, it's because your light exposes the parts of them still in darkness. Imitation is said to be the sincerest form of flattery. But when someone close to you copies your style, your ideas, your voice, then silently tries to outdo you, it's not admiration. It's rivalry disguised as friendship. They act inspired by you, but their energy feels different. It's not, how can we rise together? It's, how can I be better than you, while still pretending we're the same? They might adopt your phrases, follow your routines, dress like you, even start pursuing the same goals. But instead of celebrating you when you succeed, they go quiet. Or worse, they subtly one-up you. They post a better version. They mention their success right after yours. They bring up your ideas in front of others as if they were their own, all while keeping you close, like a competitor they can monitor. It's a kind of hidden hostility, rooted in envy, cloaked in closeness. Because deep down, they don't just want what you have, they want to be what you are. But here's the danger. You start second-guessing yourself. You begin shrinking, editing, withholding, just to stay ahead or protect your originality. True friends are inspired by you, not threatened. They'll walk beside you, not try to outpace you in your own lane. So when someone mimics your essence, but refuses to let you shine freely, you're not dealing with a friend. You're standing next to someone who resents your light and is quietly trying to claim it for themselves. There's a hidden truth about those who secretly hate you. They don't just ignore your success, they celebrate your failures in silence. They don't throw parties or make speeches about it. Instead, they relish it quietly, behind your back. That moment when you stumble, when you doubt yourself, when you feel broken, that's when they feel powerful. They won't say it outright, but you might notice a shift in their energy. A brief smile that doesn't reach their eyes. A quick comment that seems offhand but lingers like poison. It's as if your pain reassures them. Your struggles confirm their own sense of superiority. Because if you're not thriving, they don't have to feel inadequate. This is the cruelest form of resentment. To find joy in someone else's sorrow while hiding behind fake kindness. And you can feel it, can't you? That undercurrent of tension, that subtle weight in the room when things aren't perfect. This isn't friendship. It's emotional warfare disguised as closeness. Real love doesn't celebrate failure. It lifts you when you fall and applauds when you rise. If someone only shows up for your setbacks, if they're the first to notice your flaws but the last to recognize your victories, they're not allies. They're opponents, quiet, disguised, and dangerous. You deserve people who stand with you through storms, not those who wait for you to falter. Your worth isn't determined by their hidden joy in your pain. It's time to see clearly who truly belongs in your life and who's quietly rooting against you. Recognizing someone close to you secretly hates you isn't easy because love is supposed to feel safe. But safety isn't just about proximity, it's about truth. When the people around you silently undermine your confidence, compare you in disguised rivalry, or quietly celebrate your pain, it's a warning. You don't owe your energy to those who drain it. You don't have to explain your worth to those who refuse to see it. Choosing who stays in your life is an act of self-respect. It's not selfish, it's survival. You protect your light by protecting your circle. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your growth, hold space for your emotions, and stand with you, not behind a mask of false smiles. This is your invitation to raise your standards, to no longer tolerate subtle betrayals hidden in smiles, to demand the love that builds you up, not tears you down. If this message resonates, remember, you are not alone in navigating the complexity of human connection. The path to clarity starts with awareness. Subscribe to The Wisdom Seeker, where we explore the hidden truths of the mind, heart, and spirit, helping you build stronger, more authentic relationships. Because wisdom isn't just about knowing, it's about living your truth with courage. Protect your peace, choose your circle wisely, and never settle for less than the love you deserve.